Do you like tropical holidays? Come check out Island Assault with the U.S. Marines.
Welcome to Trident Wargaming, a podcast dedicated to all aspects of tabletop wargaming. Your hosts are Bill and Andy.
Hey guys, and welcome back to another Trident Wargaming episode number 17. Today, it's about BoltAction. With me, I have good friend Jason and another good friend Dusty, who's joining us for the first time. How you guys doing today?
Good. Howdy.
I'm good. How's everybody doing?
Pretty good. It's a nice Sunday, beautiful day outside. So I already did some yard work this morning, but you know, that's it's another hobby, I guess. But yeah, today with BoltAction, it's an interesting episode with a lot of the new releases and whatnot that are coming out, and just even from the armies that some of us are playing and whatnot. So just a bit of an overview of today's episode. Pretty much we're going to be going over some of the new releases today as well. Then eventually we're going to get to going over the new starter set that they've been going to be coming out with, the Island Assault, which is a Pacific Theater starter set. And it's nice because after that, it's going to tie into our other topic, is Dusty's Army, which he plays, and it's mainly of the United States Marine Corps as well. So we'll go over that, go through his thoughts and ideas of how he built his army and just thought process behind it. And then after that is pretty much the Armies from the Armchair segment, and we will be concentrating on the U.S. Army book as well. So starting off, what have you guys been up to do with your hobby? How are you guys been going right now? Like, you getting lots done? What are you working on? New projects? How about yourself, Jason?
I'm on still on a Warlord Epic Civil War kick.
Nice.
And I'm getting not much done. I am gluing and assembling King and a very slow, lowly popper of painting.
A little bit at each time, right? Get what you can done. I know sometimes it's hard to be motivated, but just keep on plugging away, I guess, eh?
Yeah, yep. I'm getting there. I only have probably 1,000 more to go.
I haven't even started mine, so don't worry. And how about you, Dusty? What about you? What are you working on?
I've been bouncing back and forth between picking up some of BoltAction and Star Wars Legion. I've been acting. Obviously, I think I have 3 or 4 trays of models all going.
Okay, some Star Wars Legion and some BoltAction. Yeah. Oh, good stuff. I know I got some of that on the workbench too, but that's for later date. Right now for myself is just, obviously I was talking to Jason about this earlier, is just finishing off a painting challenge that we've been doing for the last 2 months with my Horus Heresy 30K stuff. But the nice thing is myself and Bill, I believe we're going to be going into actually some terrain in the next little bit, which ties in the BoltAction for me because it's I've acquired a lot of stuff for Stalingrad, so a lot of MDF terrain from Sarisa Precision. So excited to do that. That'll be a pretty good project. Probably get the tractor factory all started up, and I don't know about done, but started up at least. So it's gonna be a lot of MDF frames and gluing. so yeah, that's kind of, I guess, kind of where we're sitting at for that. Hopefully your guys' hobby days are doing good and you're getting lots done. I know at the beginning of this year it's just been busy, busy, busy for myself and Bill. We just every month we kind of challenge ourselves to actually doing a project, no matter how little, right? It could be a squad, could be an actual, 800 point army for one of the games, whichever, but we'll just keep on trucking. So it's good to see everybody is kind of doing their thing, still working on stuff. So, so I guess that's where we're at for that. So new releases for, I guess, Warlord Games / BoltAction. There's a few of them kind of came down the pipe. One of them, and I know this is a funny one, is the plastic Jagdtiger, which is it's interesting for just kind of randomly thrown at us, right?
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. I'm grateful that they did it, because plastic I find is fairly nice to have. But yeah, it's a interesting one. I'm sure it'll sell pretty good. I know a couple of guys locally here will definitely get it, myself included.
I'll be getting one.
Nice. So
I probably won't be playing one, but I'll be getting one.
yeah, I'll put it beside my King Tiger,
Yeah.
So
At least plastic, it won't weigh 2.5 pounds.
yeah, it's true. So it's a nice kit by the looks of it. Definitely check it out. Campaign D-Day, the U.S. sector campaign book is supposed to be dropping here soon too. I think that one will sell out real quick. I know here locally it will, just like the previous ones have. You guys,
Is that the final book in this series? We're doing 3?
Yeah, I believe so. And
Yeah.
it's probably going to be a massive one. So it's good. You have all 3 of them together. You can make some pretty good little campaigns or scenarios. So, going forward with that, I guess they have some supply drops. So with these monthly supply drops that they're doing, I guess they're going to be themed. And for the month of June, it's supposed to be a D-Day theme, which pretty much, with this one, they're consisting of like one box of plastic infantry, I guess a resin vehicle, one metal blister, and one rule book or campaign book that's apparently related to the theme. Nice thing about these kits is apparently they are like 50% added value compared to like buying them separately. But I'm not sure if they are like a blind like purchase, so I'm not sure what you actually get. I don't know about you guys. Have you seen anything or heard anything about that?
Nothing specific regarding whether or not they're all from one army or a grab bag from all the other, all the armies involved, which is what I suspect.
That was their last supply drop.
Yeah.
A mix of all their games.
So if you're fairly indifferent to what you get, it's probably a super good deal. If you're more interested in, if you have limited dollars to spend and are looking for specific items or armies, you probably might want to avoid it.
Gotcha. Yeah. Yeah, I was never one for the supply drops, concerned I just buy everything anyways. So
yeah.
But
if no matter what book they give you, I'm going to have it already, so I'm already out that money.
But that aside, going on to our first bigger I guess topic is their new starter set that they've dropped just recently for a preview of what it is. And it's interesting because it's the Island Assault, so it's based off of the Pacific, and what you get in that book, or in that box set I should say, it's fairly decent. I mean, it's 164 Canadian here, and of course you get your little mini rule book, and you get an Island Assault booklet, some dice, pin markers, your template sprue. With this one, the terrain that you get is actually a pillbox that's supposed to be specifically for the set, and some spider holes as well for this set. So those are just the little compliments that you get with the game there. But as for the miniatures, one is of course the collector miniature that you get, which is Cappy the Devil Dog Collector Mini. So it's a pretty cool little miniature. In that, for the Imperial Japanese, you get 24 plastic soldiers. You get a Chiha tank. And then for the Marines, you get 24 US Marines and an M3A1 half-track. So if you're just starting out, it's pretty much just, you can make 2 squads, or 3 if you wanted to, really. And then you get just a vehicle with it, right? So a little different than the first set that they had. It's I'm not sure. I think there's a little bit more miniatures. I could be wrong. Probably about the same amount. But it's just Pacific wise, right? Is it, for anybody who has the game already, is it worth getting? Yeah, if you're just starting out, not too bad.
If you're looking to expand into the Pacific theater, it's a fine set. You get two small starting armies that you can go from there. Then one of the great things about BoltAction is really a box of infantry is a small army. You can usually make a command, 2 squads, and maybe be able to beef out some kind of support weapon out of a box of infantry, which is pretty much what you get. You get a box of Japanese infantry. And then adding on to that, I would always say you want to throw in a vehicle or maybe another box of infantry to beef it up. But you got a good start on 2 armies. One thing that I like about it is that hopefully to new players, they'll pull in more than Germans. Germans are Space Marines in BoltAction. Every player has a German army. So I'd be stoked to play against more Japanese or even U.S. Marines, which is also a fairly rare army you don't encounter very much. So hopefully that will spike interest in those two.
Definitely. And Dusty, because you have the Marines and you've built Marine kits and whatnot, you get some fairly decent stuff in those kits, do you not?
The Marine box is actually, I think, along with the U.S. Infantry brought out a new box, and weapon choices were upgraded. The poses were different.
Right.
A lot of options in.
Yeah, and it's definitely a different kit compared to just the regular U.S. Army. Even the uniforms are different, right? So.
Oh yeah, and you have a couple of pristine type uniforms, but the most of them are fairly ragged, without sleeves.
They've been through the shit. Yeah,
they've been through the stuff. Yeah, sure.
That's good. It's good. And then comparing the vehicles that you get for the armies here. The Japanese Chiha tank. I'm actually just pulling up my book right now. Not quite sure what that one has, but I don't think it's very, very heavy weapon. Looking like maybe medium anti-tank coaxial on it. I'm thinking that's what it has.
But it looks like for the Marines, and they've given you the transport vehicle.
Mm-hmm.
It looks like in the starter picture, it looks like they've given you. You gotta probably build a. There's definitely one of those that balances it out.
Yeah.
Versus it.
Yeah, the usually that's what they do. Like the vehicles shouldn't really. It's not like they're going to give you a King Tiger and throw you know an M3 Lee at you kind of thing. So, but it's a good start, and it also lets the hobbyists actually get to play around with these different vehicles too. Building them and painting them up and whatnot. So, in my eyes, it's a good little kit, good starter kit. I'll probably get one myself just to do an unboxing and whatnot as well and add to my forces because I always need more miniatures. But that's the way it goes. But going forward with that, they do have a larger pack. It's a bit more expensive compared to 164 Canadian. It's actually 375 Canadian, and it's the Pacific campaigns that you can pre-order. So you actually get the Empires in Flames and the Mariana and Palau Island books. I probably butchered that last one, but so you get those with it. You also get the U.S. Marine Raider Squad, a U.S. support group, which is usually your command and special weapons and whatnot. And then you also get the Japanese support group and the Japanese paratroopers in that set too. So I'm sure price-wise it's pretty fair. You do get a lot of those box sets are pretty up there for price, but if you're getting into it and you want to expand, that's probably a good way of doing it. Other than that,
sorry,
nope.
These campaign ones are definitely seem to be more of a split it with somebody. If you want a little bit more than you're getting with the starters, go in with another pair and you pick you want out of the box. But it definitely gives you armies.
No, that's a good point. That's actually a really good point. Yeah, if you split that in half, it's a good start for sure. And of course, if you have the campaign books, I mean, you're playing with your buddy anyways, right? So it's a good way to go. And there's a couple different units in those books too. So which actually is going forward. Like if you were to add on to these armies that you get, if you're going with that theme, of course, this is kind of the set you'd be getting. But you have options. You want to add some snipers. You might be able to build from your actual box sets, like the infantry sets. Flamethrowers were a thing in that Pacific theater. You pretty much flushing each other out all the time. For the Americans, you got your LVTs. You got your, what was it, Ronsons and Buffaloes, I believe. In that.
And Bros.
Yeah, so.
Lots of amphibious.
The amphibious one, yeah, the transports and whatnot. Pretty cool looking little well, actually, they're not really that little, are they?
They're big. I mean, transport-wise, they transport 30 guys for a small vehicle. You can transport or even 10 care.
Yeah, they're pretty neat little ones. I know, Dusty, you've used them in your army and also in some of the one of the events that we had there. I remember you were cruising across the waterway with them to get to the objective in a sneaky fashion. It was pretty good. But yeah,
can't one of them carry a Jeep in it?
I believe so.
30 guys or a Jeep.
Jeez.
The nice thing about those is actually, where is it here? So, Alessio Cavator came out with this little blog almost kind of thing, and it's a little write-up for amphibious assault in BoltAction. And he's got some rules in there for movement in water, and then like there's actually landing craft as well. So you actually get to tie that into the games, which is pretty neat. I'm pretty happy that they did that. So I'll probably put that link into the description here as well. We got here Oh yes, yes. So you have your U.S. Marine assault squads. These are interesting because they have a bar and a flamethrower in the unit.
Do
So
was that was in the Mariana and Palau book.
yeah, yeah, and then one of the theater books there, which is neat because they give a bit more of options to your army if you're going with that route, right?
Yeah, so that unit replaces your standard flame. If you don't want the 2-man, move that up with up to 4-man, and you can get up to another 9-man. Be beefy,
Nice.
surrounding your flamethrower.
Yeah, it definitely protects it too, right?
It's by far the best way to go if you're rolling a flamethrower.
Mm-hmm.
Is to surround them with meat shields, which is maybe the least sensitive way of putting that. But it's far more effective. And when you pop out and you're ready to shoot and you inevitably miss, like I do 9 times out of 10, you might get another shot the next turn. Whereas if you're that team and you popped out and you're trying to barbecue that squad or hit that tank to force that morale check and you miss, like I do 9 times out of 10, you're hooped. I mean, you got to be that flamethrower is not going to survive because that guy's going to use whatever he can to kill it.
Oh, for sure. For sure. And we got, I guess, the War Dog team as well. That's a good little throw in for the army. And I know you have one, I think, in your army, don't you, Dusty?
I do have one. It's a fun little unit. You get to removes. They have spotter, so units. So at the beginning, sure. They have you can upgrade them. Shotguns, SMGs, so they can small unit.
Yeah, I think. Sorry, Dusty, you cut out there a little bit, but
I was saying, it's a nice little small unit. You can use them with SMGs and nice little capture objective squad.
Nice. Yeah, because they have their, I think their range for like spotting, like hidden units.
I think 24 inches.
24. That's huge on the board, like huge, right?
So practically nowhere to hide, honestly, unless you, for some reason, put them on the far flank, which seems to negate their ability. But if you put them in the middle of the board, there's almost nowhere, within a turn, anybody can stay hidden.
And even if you wanted to throw them you can throw them in a transport, and first turn, let transport out and get those disembark, and the entire board covered.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
and once they're revealed, that's they're not re-hidden.
No, it opens up that opportunity to take them out, right?
Even if you do that with the transport and the guy takes out puppers, too late.
Definitely. So yeah, those are some decent little extras that you can throw into your army for this box set for the States, the U.S. Marine forces there. And I'm sure there's other ones too that I haven't mentioned. I'm sure there's a rocket truck in there somewhere. But going forward into the Japanese army, this one, I think there's a lot more going to be more infantry than vehicles for them. Like I know they have the machine gun section, So pretty much they have an MMG in this unit of rifles. And it's kind of, I don't think I've seen this before. So it's not an LMG, you have an MMG, and the MMG still acts as the team, right? So you're getting both kind of rules mixed into one unit. So you still have to have that facing, and if the whole unit moves, he's pretty much running, right? So it does save that team from just regular shots, but of course if you get the sniper in there, you can still take him out. So but like you said, just some more protection for that specific unit. So that's a different one to put in there. You have some lone snipers, and this is interesting because they have LMGs instead of sniper rifles, and it's a one-man team.
That's awesome.
So definitely, I know they have a special rule on them. I can't remember the name offhand, but he does suffer the -1 hit because he is alone, because of the LMG, not because of not having a loader. Well, I guess it is because he doesn't have a loader, but he ignores the first pin marker that he takes. So in one hand, you know what, okay, you take a penalty. On the other hand, though, it's nice that that happens too, right? He's pretty much out there in the boonies, suppressing, doing whatever with his LMG. So he's knows the danger, right? Once you pass that one pin, though, then that's when you start taking, the modifier, right? So neat little unit, a little different, fits the theme. This one's pretty neat too, is the night infiltrators for the Japanese. They pretty much get forward deployment as a unit, just like observers and snipers and whatnot. So having a full unit of that being out there, take advantage of that for sure.
Fighters, if you take that point per model.
Tank fighters, yeah, they do get that too. That could be pretty pivotal, especially when you in there up front, kind of hidden, and there's a flamethrower tank coming up your way. Could be scary if you can take that out. And I think those are units from the Mariana book as well. So interested in that. I believe it's from that campaign book. Other units, I guess I'm probably going to butcher this name, but the Kempaite. I don't know if that's
Kempaite.
I don't even know if I said that right, but the political officer for the Japanese, they get to re-roll the green rule within 6 inches, which is pretty neat. That's probably I'm going to say probably a must-take if you're using green units. So pretty simple on that one. That's an extra command. Grenadier squads. They're a little bit beefier. Probably can get veterans. They got a decent amount of equipment on them too. What else we got here? Special naval landing force, like the squads, would tie in with this box set, especially if you're doing, playing missions and stuff for like island hopping. So that's another unit to check out. And the paratrooper squad, the I don't even know how to pronounce that, but the Tishin Shudan. That's another unit. Apparently they used them a lot. Not quite as paratroopers in the beginning they did, but down the road they pretty much became a standard force to fight with as well. And the almighty suicide anti-tank teams. And we all love these guys. If you're playing some Japanese army, you got to have at least one of these in there. So So yeah, that was just kind of add-ons to this box set. If there's anything else you guys kind of have in mind, think about. But yeah, it's a good little start. In all honesty, it's a good little start for a set. So
It's nice to see a set other than an European set, obviously. To see something a little your rule book in there too.
oh, for sure, 100%. I agree with that. Like it's good. It might get other people started, you know. So it's decent. More they do that, like the more they do that, I think is better. They can take a note from some of these other, companies that do kind of that same thing. But all in all, like for the Axis powers, you're kind of limited, right? But you have enough variety that you can actually make these starter sets with different flair to them, right? So, yeah, that's kind of my input on that. And just anything else with those books? Really, it's like, get your army book and get some campaign books and just have fun with it. That's where it all is, right? So, going forward, we are going to actually look at Dusty's army. So, this is pretty cool. He's got it's a 1250 list, and he's got 12 order dice in this list, and it's the U.S. Army, but it's mainly it's the U.S. Marines pretty much. So what was your idea behind this one, Dusty? Like the thought process behind? Do you have did you kind of look at kind of a regiment or a unit or something that sparked your idea to start it up?
For the Marines, I think it was definitely the VTs in the book. It's kind of a unique looking vehicle, and I was the entire army pretty much is built off of an infantry box set plus pewter packs of special weapons. Managed to fit because it's a veteran army. Well, that one box set pretty far with it, unit wise. Anyway. Yeah. And that freed up some cash for the extra LVT4 for Buffalo. Add on there.
That's kind of your shtick anyway, isn't it? Having a couple of elite veterans pop out of vehicles.
Yeah. I like I seem to gravitate towards the army cool vehicles and infantry. It is a smaller army, but they're really tough.
Oh, no doubt. Veterans.
All veterans. And just even I love I have an engineer squad and a flamethrower. Flamethrowers in there. I can really take those over using things. You tend to be pretty light on my end. I compensated with a couple of flamethrowers.
I didn't even see that on your veteran engineer squad. No, that's pretty good. Actually, I like that unit. That's pretty neat.
That's a good unit. That could actually be swapped out for the new assault unit, Marine. Okay. That unit, your engine squad. You have 2 well-protected flame.
No, that's true. That is very true. It's pretty good. But it's your army, like it's very it's definitely very themed as well, right? Like you're obviously playing the U.S. Marines, and you have your support, with your forward observer and whatnot, and you brought in your engineers, which obviously they were out there, right? Machine guns for Americans, of course. You're going to have some of those there. Well, sniper teams. That's
Sniper teams. Yeah,
that's
they always.
there was tons of them in that area, that theater. Flamethrowers, you've seen it all the time. You see tons of pictures where they're flushing out bunkers, right? And gun nests and whatnot. And that's in both sides of the battle. And then the infamous War Dog that you got here,
And that the War Dogs were definitely a unit that was more brought in just for instance. I had researched the War Dogs even before. It was such a fascinating to be brought in by the Americans in that sector of war, like the Pacific.
Mm-hmm.
Just the you have this thing that even they're still used today. Various things, and you always have that. And these the stories you hear about dogs and their handlers, and there's always heroic stories here, and yeah, it was they don't have they have the Devil Dog copy now. Any models before? Well, you know what? I want a unit I can build. And some models and
so
look really good.
So you ended up finding other models for them, or?
Did so. One of them has actually from. One of them's this one models from the D-Day book. Came out. You got a German Shepherd type computer figure. It's your special. It's your book. And the other ones actually, which are pretty decent scale, were from Zombicide.
Zombicide, okay.
I have a German Shepherd in there. It was a good scale.
Nice.
Well,
I'll have to keep that in mind. I'll have to post that on the notes there as well for anybody who's looking for them. That's a good place to grab some for scale. And then speaking of models, the LVTs, because I know you have a couple of, well, probably more than a couple, but I know you have two different brands, pretty much, which is
brands. So I have the Warlord, as in transport version,
mm-hmm.
and a Rubicon models. The Warlord one, the resin one, it's 5-6 pieces, fit together really well. If you're just wanting to get into the game and build a simple model, that's your go. The Rubicon ones are model kit. They're
a model kit. Yeah,
it's a model kit. So if you don't like building things with tiny pieces, probably not the best. But it is more. It's a little bit crisper. If you buy enough of them, extra piece you can do. End up putting them together, and you can have a couple waterline versions with the. If you have more than gives you a scenery piece or a different option too.
Oh, okay, nice. So they tons of extra little pieces that you can slam together.
Lots of extras.
Nice. That's pretty cool. Yeah, I actually haven't gotten a Rubicon kit yet, so I might have to check those out. Definitely check those out and see what they're like. I've kind of just recently, what was it, Tamiya? It was a Tamiya kit I got, but it's 1/48 scale, so it's a little bit bigger. I was just checking what they're like compared to Warlord Games tanks, but so yeah.
The Rubicon is much closer to the gaming tank scale, and the Warlord.
Okay.
So they look much similar in size.
No, it's good. That's good. It'll fit.
I guess a 150.
Yeah, because that would suck if the scale was completely off compared to your other vehicles. But so yeah, those are the LVTs. And then I know you have a Jeep in there as well. And that's just for booking around, probably in one of your transports, I'm assuming.
Yeah, I have a tendency to throw my flamethrower team in the Jeep and throw that in the Buffaloes
Okay.
and kind of run it up the board and then drop the Jeep off later. You can zoom around elsewhere. It kind of makes it it's really silly. I think is why I played a little bit more. It's not really practically sound. It's a large target you can take out. 3 dice if you take it.
Yeah, what is the rule if you blow up a vehicle carrying a vehicle?
I believe that one takes this damage as well. So you would up one vehicle. It could possibly there might have been an immobilized thing. If it can't exit, to check that one again. Doesn't happen to me. People have tried though.
That's my primary goal, is just to make you look that rule up.
Oh, you know what though? It will come up definitely in the games. It hasn't come up in any games I've played because it's actually never been a factor. But soon to be it will be, right? So
it's a rare unit. So the LVTs have it. Of course, your amphibious transport.
Yeah, your landing craft have
it. Yeah.
That's right.
They're usually in water, so as you're immobilized in water, your vehicles anyway.
You're pretty much done. Yeah. No, it's a pretty solid list. It definitely has some good units, good amount of units in it as well. So yeah, veterans, which is nice because they're going to be tough as nails, and then you got transports, so even tougher. And your transports themselves are no laughing matter. I mean, you got your Buffalo that has 3 MMGs on it.
MMG.
And then and then the Alligator itself. I mean, it does have 2 MMGs, a coaxial HMG, and then you also have a light anti-tank gun, which against, like, if you're playing against the Japanese armies, their tanks really aren't that big. So it's good size.
You don't want to go against a German army. Against the lighter armored. That also has the option of
option of what? Sorry, Dusty.
It has the option of upgrading that flamethrower.
Oh, the flamethrower. Okay, well, that's pretty cool. Yeah, it gives you options for sure, and it's just guess whatever floats your boat with these units.
It's mostly intimidation factor. You have this giant vehicle that's bigger than it's the same size as a bigger skill wise, and it just looks intimidating. And then you throw a turret mounted flamethrower on there, and like, what? It draws a lot of fire. It can help get your infantry off the board just by hooking up.
Nice. Yeah, and then you got to deal with the infantry on top of that, right? So, and of course, what comes out? Probably another flamer. So that's pretty good. Yeah. So anybody out there who is looking into starting up the army or making their own army or United States Marines, even just other armies, feel free to drop us a line, hit us up in the comments, and you can even reach out to Dusty and Jason as well. They have lots of experience with different armies and stuff too, and they come up with some pretty cool armies, pretty unique armies on the board as well. So it's fun, and not to mention they do some real kick-ass terrain. So I know Dusty has sent me some pictures, which I'll put onto the YouTube channel and probably even on the page there, and just show some of his island hopping, terrain and his units. So it's awesome. It's good to see. I know the United States Marine, like I have them. I just haven't touched them yet, and I know Dusty was working on them for a bit, so it was good to see them come out. I might have to shelf another army and bring out the Japanese just to have them ready to go whenever that happens, right? So no, good. That's awesome. Anything from you, Jason, that you see on that army that you like? That you...
I don't like any of it. It looks terrifying.
Yeah.
It's actually a fairly good match for my airborne. Fairly similar makeup, except for I'll have more guys and fewer transport, or no transports. So I'm a lot slower, but kind of equally as tough. A good slogging match. We did one fight, probably not the exact same list, but I think he had mostly that stuff at that tournament a while ago, and I think that ended up as a draw, if I remember correctly. Or in any case, if you or I won, it was a close one.
Close, yeah.
Nice. I think that kind of wraps up Dusty's list there. One thing, I can't wait to see your guys' armies on the board. I can't wait to get some double matches going on with a theme, events with themes. Pacific is definitely one which would be pretty neat. The nice thing, and I'm sure you can do this with the European sectors and stuff too, but not only can you do kind of campaigns and whatnot with the BoltAction in the Pacific, but you can also involve the victory at sea with it, right? So you can make your own little campaign, have your battles, and then have your invasion of the islands and all your island hopping and all those battles that they've had just to take back the territory and whatnot, the airfields, fighting through the jungles, which in game is a dirty fight altogether when it's just everything's a jungle. Everything's a tree. It's definitely makes for interesting fights. Mainly infantry fights, but that's what the game's about, right? So yeah, again, can't wait to get out there and play again. I'm sure you guys are the same way, feeling the same thing. Yeah. So keep on getting those armies ready and we'll get rolling. Going forward here, so with that part of the show done, we're going to move into the Armies from the Armchair section, and pretty much it's going to be the United States Army. We'll go through the book slightly and whatnot, some specific units, and just give you kind of an overview of strengths and weaknesses of the Army. And hopefully you guys will enjoy that. And then, we'll go from there. So, kicking it off, I guess we'll go over the nation special rules once I get to that page here. So it is quite a common army. Most guys will pick up and play. I think they contend with the German army a fair bit, like for player choice.
Probably helps that they've been in all the starter sets.
That is
same as Germany up until now.
No, that's very true. That is a good point. But they have so many different kits too, right? Like so many plastic kits as well, which is another bonus if you want to play the army. So yeah, army special rules. So one of them they have is fire and maneuver. So pretty much it's letting your U.S. infantry models equipped with M1 Garands, rifles or carbines, and bars, they don't suffer a -1 to hit penalty for shooting and moving. So whenever you give like an advance order, you can shoot without that penalty, right? The to hit penalty. That's pretty big.
Yeah, it makes them a lot more maneuverable, and a pretty big advantage to moving towards an objective where another guy might choose to hoof it and not shoot, or has to, shoot and move. But a -1 doesn't sound like a lot, but it really, it's only a D6. It is a significant penalty.
No, for sure. Well, like even going back to Dusty's army, like he deploys, he's considered moving, right? And he gets out into position. Well, he's not. He's ready to pretty much fire. Like he's doing his work. His troops are coming out of the LVTs and getting into cover. If he positions it right, and he's firing without that penalty, which is a huge bonus. It just makes his unit and that army even stronger to what he wants to do with it, right? So yeah, that's pretty good. Like I almost would take that over anything, right? Because it's
Concentrated fire as you advance definitely has advantage.
Oh, for sure, and I can see why guys would be, very inclined to pick the army just for that rule itself. Next up, we got the gyro stabilizers. So when the weapon of I believe it's the tank has a gyro stabilizer, it doesn't suffer a -1 to hit penalty for shooting and moving if the crew are veteran. So it's very similar, and it doesn't apply. It doesn't apply to the coaxial, just the main gun. So it's also a good one, especially if you're running tanks, which it's good, but it's not like you're running 5 tanks, right?
Yeah, this one is handy, but probably not going to impact many games. And you have to take it as veterans. It only applies to veteran tankers, so
I believe it's only on Sherman.
On Shermans, yeah, I think you're right.
Description. So by the time you pay for a veteran,
yeah, and I've played a couple guys, and I don't think that's even come up, or maybe they forgot about it. I'm not sure, but you don't really see too many veteran tanks, so
it just really beefs up an already expensive unit. I mean, maybe more likely in tank war, a tank war game, maybe you're going to take some veteran tanks, because at that point, it's a couple of points of difference. But in a regular game where that tank is essentially 2 infantry squads, and then you're adding on to that, it's a significant portion of your army.
No, definitely, for sure. We also have air superiority. So a nice one about this is your forward air observer can call in an airstrike twice instead of once per game.
Which can be huge.
For sure.
Air observers can be, they're hit or miss, I guess, but they can be deadly, and getting the second run at it is a big deal. That on top of the essentially moving and shooting without a penalty is in my mind, probably two of the better advantages in the whole game.
Yeah,
I feel like it makes the air observer actually worth his.
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, worth his weight for sure. Mind you, I know. This brings up. I do remember seeing this used against me, and it's backfired on the opponent. A little bit of danger close with the observer. So, but it's pretty neat, and it gives the army the sense of, the States had a lot of aircraft. They had a lot of support from that part of their army, which is pretty good.
Yeah, it fits thematically for sure.
Well, and even in again, Dusty's army, he has one in there, I believe. It fits the theme as well, right? Because that they had that support in the Pacific. They had the aircraft coming in, always taking out targets, bombing or strafing an infantry line, that kind of jazz, right? So it's definitely there. You probably see it almost in every American army.
Yeah, you're kind of silly not to, really.
Mm-hmm. No, I totally agree with you on that one. So, and then their last one is modern communications. So pretty much when units take an order test to move from reserve onto the table, they don't apply the usual -1 penalty to their basic morale value. So they use their basic morale value instead. Yeah, that's big.
Mm-hmm.
How many times have you failed that roll just because of that -1? Too many times.
Yeah.
One definitely plays towards large infantry players that are fielding lots of regular units. It doesn't seem to affect the veterans, but
Yeah, that's true.
every once in a while, regular unit. But with that, but with the American,
Yeah, they kind of all their traits are pretty much bonuses, right? So it's pretty good, very solid, compared to some of the other nations' special rules. So yeah, so that's the state's special rules. Going forward onto their units, they pretty much have the general, officer and medics and forage observers, and in some of the other campaign books, you actually have chaplains as well that do other things in the game. Inexperienced and regular infantry squads, both early, mid, and late. I'm sure a lot of the early battles were in North Africa and whatnot, when they were just kind of testing the waters, getting into the battle there, trying to help out.
Fighting the French.
Yeah. They do have engineer squads and, of course, your paratrooper squads, which are veterans, and they're loaded with a whole bunch of submachine guns, light machine guns, bars. It's neat with the bar that they get that option. That's usually through like almost all their units. They have that option for it. They have a glider squad. I don't think I've seen that, but they're pretty much just airborne troops with tank hunter if you give them grenades.
Well, glider infantry don't get as much pay as the airborne. The airborne got double the pay of a standard GI, and glider infantry didn't get that.
I don't know. I don't think I would want to be in a glider.
Yeah. Do you want to jump out of a plane, or do you want to crash in a plane? Neither.
Yeah. Ranger squads, they have them as well. So neat thing about them, they get the same plethora of equipment. Rangers lead the way, so they're allowed to make a move after both sides have finished setting up, but before the first turn begins. So it's kind of like a scout move, right? Which is pretty cool for them. I know. I'm not sure if you guys know him, but Brady, he just picked up a whole bunch of Americans for BoltAction. He actually got some Rangers, which was good to see. He's kind of theming it off of Normandy and whatnot, and I just thought Saving Private Ryan when I seen Rangers in his list and whatnot. So pretty neat to see that too. And then you have your Marine squads, which Dusty knows all about. Early and late and mid. So
my favorite part of that is they have the option of rotating shotguns.
Shotguns, yeah, that's true.
Range 18 one shot. They are assault.
Tough fighters too, right? Am I wrong?
You get lots of stubborn.
No, but the shotgun, does that give you?
Yeah, assault weapon would get
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it does.
a little bit more range in one last shot than an. Sometimes that you've already got several SMG. It's good to put a couple shotguns. A little bit of firepower. You're sometimes short.
You also get like 3 of your men can have pistols as well, which
Basically your entire unit be upgraded.
3 of them can have bars, and this is mid and late war. So there's a lot of option in those units. That's pretty cool. And of course, you have your going into like teams and whatnot. You have your medium and heavy machine guns. Thought there was something for the Americans with machine guns.
Their standard chart, you get machine gun.
3, right?
Yeah, where is it? I can't quite remember 0 to 1, but yeah, because I've seen that come up before, where you have that option for the multiple machine guns, which I'd be taking them, having them just hunker down and targeting one unit. You know what I mean? Or cutting off certain fields of fire, kind of thing. Nice thing too is with these teams, the bazooka team, one of the lucky armies that get a bazooka, so it's pretty good 2-man team.
Yeah, but you don't have to run up as close as I do with Piat, so
24 inches is pretty good.
It is. It definitely is. So they kind of got it all right. They got bazooka teams, sniper team. Well, everybody has sniper teams, but flamethrower teams. Your mortars, of course. So a lot of it is very similar to the generic armies that have same equipment. Heavy mortar team. I know with my Soviets, I use heavy mortars, which are nice. So it's cool to see that they have them as well. And the plethora of artillery.
Yeah.
Which they should have.
War machine.
So all the type of artillery you want to play with, you have it here. Even rocket launchers, which is a multiple launcher. Big old howitzers, anti-tank teams as well. You even have dual-purpose AT guns. So you can check that out. And then if you move on to vehicles, I mean, they've got quite a few tanks as well, right? Your Stewarts, your M5s, Chaffies, Lees and Grants. What else do they got here? Actually, they got quite a few Lees. And of course, your famous Sherman, right? The nice thing is, like, they do have a lot of kits. A lot of Sherman kits, which is what you'll mainly see. They even have a Calpy. That's pretty neat. Multiple launcher on it.
Yeah, that thing looks sweet.
Zippos and Ronsons, flamethrowers, M4s, M4A2s, Pershings, and then of course they have your LVTs in here, and then tank destroyers as well, right? So a lot of infamous ones. Jacksons, self-propelled tanks and whatnot too, or artillery, I should say. So like lots of options. Anti-tank aircraft vehicles. So if you guys are looking, to play probably certain theaters, the options are here. You have lots of tanks and transports and half tracks and scout cars, 3/4 ton trucks, even the duck amphibious truck as well. So lots there. A few LVTs at the back as well for transports, which is pretty cool. So with the book, you also have theater selectors from Africa, Rommel's Defeat, Western Europe, Operation Husky, which I know our friend Bill, he's kind of based his American Army. I believe it's Husky and Operation Avalanche. He's kind of can go back and forth from either one. And then of course you have like all the other campaign books that Warlord Games makes. Like the Americans are all there, right? So, but the nice thing you have in here too, it's not just European. You have Guadalcanal, Iwo Jima, that you can play in and try out the waters, so to speak. But definitely, in my eyes, definitely a great army. If you're looking for a lot of options, it's definitely one to probably look into and pick up. So, what do you guys think about that? Like,
yeah, for sure. Lots of options, lots of different ways to go, like in entirely different armies within the U.S. to create, from Marines to Rangers to standard GI infantry to, the fighting Seabees. There's so many options and armored divisions, armored regiments to do. I mean, you got pretty much anything you can think of, you can make work and probably fit a theme with, like a legitimate, legitimize it with a, historical theme to it too. And they have a buttload of plastic kits.
yes, they do.
Compared to some of the armies, if you play French, I mean,
Your case weighs a
they don't
ton.
have very many plastic options, but
Not only are you going to the store to play games, but you're getting a workout when you play the French.
yeah,
It's all pewter.
yeah, pewter and greatcoats.
Yeah. That's good. That's good. Yeah, I know it's good army, like I said before. I do have one thing with the army, and this is the plastic kits, and I don't know if you guys have seen this or not. I don't know how recently they did this, probably about a year now already, but they ended up redoing the standard U.S. Army infantry kit. So if you have gotten an old kit, you're going to notice that all the guns are separate, and you got to place the arms, in certain positions and get those arms pretty much perfect with the guns, right? And
It's kind of nice for ease of conversion, and then it's nice that you have the weapons on a separate sprue, so you can use them for terrain, any leftovers, or
Mm-hmm.
throw them on, steal them and put them on other armies that can kind of have the same weapons too. But it can be a real pain in the butt dinking around with those freaking arms to match, so they're not holding it like an idiot. Gosh, it can be frustrating. So I actually like the new way that they've been doing it where they're sculpted on, but at the same time, I appreciate the weapon sprue essentially.
It would be nice to have a few more extra weapons that weren't attached to hands, or there's some odd carrying position. Never seem to make any sense.
Just to sling it over a guy's shoulder, even, or have it on the base next to a guy with a heavy weapon or something, or maybe he just to decorate up a base or whatever.
No, for sure, and I do know the thickness of the weapons are a difference too, especially with the bar. The older kit, I'm pretty sure the gun tip probably snapped on a lot of people's bars, whereas the new one is actually fairly solid, thick. So you don't see that happen unless you actually applied some good force to it. And then, of course, you have the different little bits and bobs from the kit. So probably one of those kits I can probably do a comparison video on, because I have them both as well, right? So it's pretty. So I think that's the one thing that I kind of, kind of got me there when I first got the Americans.
I don't have a new box of American Infantry yet. I have 5 boxes of American Infantry, and none of them are new. Why do I need 5 boxes? I can't tell you. Why do I have 9 M3 half tracks? I don't know.
It was just a good deal. I had to get them.
Is it probably a reason that I have 18 Shermans? Maybe.
How many starter boxes did you buy?
I bought so many. The tank war boxes. I have a buttload of Panthers too, my friend.
I have yet to buy a tank war box.
Oh.
Soon. Don't worry, guys. Soon.
I literally have a stack of books from starter sets.
That's good stuff.
But I'm an idiot. So.
The nice thing too is they actually have different armies, right? You have your regular army, you have your airborne, you have your United States Marine Corps, right? So you're able to go different routes in that sense. So a lot of options, great range of models. You always see different ones coming out. They even had a Patton figure there as well, a Patton miniature that you're able to get your hands on, which is pretty cool. Tank war wise, yeah, again, plethora of tanks that you can play around with. So go for it. Other than that, pretty solid army, I would say. Pretty solid. Like gaming wise, gaming terms, pretty solid, right? All the narrative and historical part of it, well, that's on the player end of it, but you have options. And the beautiful thing about Warlord Games is you don't have to specifically use and purchase their models for it, right? So if you could find other cool stuff, like K9 units, by all means, right? So but yeah, that was a pretty good little overview for the States. I know we'll continue to be doing these kind of things, these armies from the armchair, as we go down, and I'll also have some unboxing videos that can hopefully tie in with the podcast, so that you guys can kind of bounce back and forth and see stuff that we're talking about and whatnot. So again, guys, thank you for coming on the show and talking about the new box sets and all that stuff, and the new releases and your army, Dusty. Thanks for sharing that with us, and I'll end up sharing the pictures and whatnot too, so guys can see what we're talking about. Jason, again, thank you for being here on round 3.
No worries.
So we'll definitely do it more. Hopefully you guys will, hopefully be able to start getting out there and playing in the near future as well. Definitely miss those Wednesdays where we all came down and just had some good chuckles and dice rolling. And, hey, maybe we didn't finish a game, but we had a good time. So, and thanks for listening, guys. Hope you enjoyed this session here. Don't forget to check us out on Instagram and Facebook and YouTube and all the other platforms. We'll have it on the links and whatnot. So, yeah, coming up later on, I think we will have a podcast about our little giveaway that we're doing. We've reached, just today on Instagram, we've reached 350 followers. So thank you guys for following. Thank you for checking our stuff out. Really appreciate it, and be on the lookout for the giveaway if you guys signed up for it. And you guys keep on rolling dice and have fun, and we will catch you on the next one. Trident Wargaming. Build it, paint it, play it.